Tenn, where are you?
Here, Grandfather. Right here.
It's finished. Quick, before I forget it. Pencil and paper. Hurry, please. Ready?
Yes, all ready, Grandfather.
How calmly does the olive branch observe the sky begin to blanch, without a cry, without a prayer, with no betrayal of despair. Sometime, while night obscures the tree, the zenith of its life will be gone past forever. And from thence a second history will commence. A chronicle no longer gold, a bargaining with mist and mold, and finally the broken stem, the plummeting to earth, and then an intercourse not well designed for beings of a golden kind, whose native green must arch above the earth's obscene, corrupting love. And still the ripe fruit and the branch observe the sky begin to blanch, without a cry, without a prayer, with no betrayal of despair. Oh, courage! Could you not as well select a second place to dwell, not only in that golden tree, but in the frightened heart of me? Have you got that, Hannah?
Yes, Grandfather.
All of it?
Every word.
And it's finished?
Yes.
Finally finished?
Yes, finally finished.
And it's good.
Beautiful.
Is it good?
Beautiful, Grandfather. Oh, Grandfather, I'm so happy for you. Thank you for writing such a lovely poem. It's worth the long wait. Can you sleep a little now? I'll fetch your shawl.
I'd like to pray now.
Christopher Marlowe or Francis Bacon, the author of Lear, remains unshaken. Willie Herbert or Mary Fitton, what does it matter? The sonnets were written.
Deep in our subconscious, we are told, lie all our memories, lie all the notes of all the music we have ever heard, and all the phrases those we loved have spoken. Sorrows and losses time has since consoled, family jokes, outmoded anecdotes, each sentimental souvenir and token, everything seen, experienced, each word addressed to us in infancy, before we could even know or understand the implications of our wonderland. There they all are. The legendary lies, the birthday treats, the sights, the sounds, the tears, forgotten debris of forgotten years, waiting to be recalled, waiting to rise before our world dissolves before our eyes, waiting for some small, intimate reminder, a word, a tune, a known familiar scent, an echo from the past when, innocent, we looked upon the present with delight and doubted not the future would be kinder, and never knew the loneliness of night.
Mary Hamilton's to the kirk gane, with ribbons in her hair, and the king thocht mair Mary Hamilton than ony that was there. Mary Hamilton's to the kirk gane, with ribbons at her breast, and the king thocht mair Mary Hamilton than he listened to the priest. Mary Hamilton's to the kirk gane, with ribbons in her hand, and the king thocht mair Mary Hamilton than the queen in all her land. She hadn't been about the king's court a month, but barely in, when she was beloved by all the king's court, and the king the only man. She hadn't been about the King's Court a month, but barely 3, when for the King's Court Mary Hamilton durstna be. The King is to the Abbey gane, to pu the Abbey tree and scale the babe for Mary's heart, but the thing it wouldn't be. She's rowed it in her apron, and she's set it in the sea, saying, "Gae sink ye or swim, ye bonny babe, he's get nae mair o' me." But word is to the kitchen gane, and word is to the ha', that Mary Hamilton's brocht to bed, and the bonny babe's missed in a wa', for scarce had she lain doon again, and scarcely fawn asleep, when up there started your good queen, and stood at her bed's feet, saying, "Where's your babe, Mary Hamilton, for I'm sure I heard it greet." Oh no, my noble queen, think nae sic thing to be. 'Twas but a stitch into my side, and sair it troubled me. Get up, Mary Hamilton, get up and follow me, for I am going to Edinburgh toon, a rich wedding for to see. Oh, slowly raise she up, and slowly put she on, and slowly rade she out the way where money's a weary grown. Ride hooly, gentlemen, ride hooly noo wi' me, for never am sure a wearier bird rade in your company. The Queen was clad in scarlet, her merry maids all in green, and ilka toon that they passed through took Mary for the Queen. Why weep ye so, ye burgess wives? Why look ye so on me? For I am gone to Edinburgh toon, a rich wedding for to see. But little wist Mary Hamilton, when she rade on the brown, that she was gone to Edinburgh town, ought to be put down. For when she rade through the Netherbow port, she laughed, loud laughters 3, but lang ere she came by again, the tears blinded her ee. When she gaed up the tall booth steps, the corks for her heels did flee, but lang ere she came down again, she was condemned to die.
Ah, but she was the queer old scousha anyhow, Anne Olivia Trinket told. And sure he was the queer old bunce too, dear dirty dumpling, who's the father of Fingalls and Doffergills. Daffer and Gammer were all their gangsters. Hadn't he 7 dams to wive him, and every dam had her 7 crutches, and every crutch had its 7 hughes, and each hue had a differing cry. Suds for me and supper for you, and the doctor's bill for George on.
The first reaction of readers was predictable. Complete bafflement. Some suspected a hoax. Others wondered if the writing of Ulysses had softened Joyce's brain. Even Miss Weaver, who had applauded Joyce's experiments in Ulysses, was appalled by his latest efforts.
You? Well, no, you're not the far-out generation, are you? You kind of. I'm kind of quirky. Okay. The freak out, the flop out, the psych out, the drop out, the blackout, the fallout, the conk out, the cop out, the wipe out, the sweat out, the strike out, the sell out are warning the world we should all get the hell out.
There's one. Don't you have one about Nixon?
The book is divided up into several parts, and one of them is called Little Drops of Watergate. And under that heading, I have one called Identity Crisis. Milhouse Ben Nixon, in his royal tower, awoke one night from a deep dream of power, and saw within the moonlight of his room a shadow with a peace plaque glowing in the gloom. He could not discern the form or face, but he knew 'twas someone from outer space. Some long-haired peacenik, some pinko poet. The weird beard tells it, and the peace words show it. You, cried Nixon, may be someone from Berkeley or Harvard or Kingdom Come, but to me, you're nothing but a campus bum. Just then, Pat rubs her eyes and wheezes. My God, Dickie, you're talking to Jesus.
Fatal Ben Adam,
may his tribe increase. Awoke one night from a dream of peace, and saw within the moonlight in his room, making it rich and like a lily in bloom, an angel writing in a book of gold. Exceeding peace had made Ben Adam bold, and to the presence in the room he said, "What writest thou?" The vision raised his head, and with a look made of all sweet accord, answered, "The names of those who love the Lord."
Sometimes a night funeral going by carries home a cool bop daddy. Hearse and flowers guarantee he'll never hype another patty. It's hard to believe, but dead in there, he'll never lay a hype nowhere. He's my ace boy, gone away. Wake up and live, he used to say. Squares who couldn't dig him, plant him now, out where it makes no diff nohow. I play it cool and dig all jive. That's the reason I stay alive. My motto as I live and learn is dig and be dug in return.
It was yesterday morning. I looked in my box for mail. The letter that I found there made me turn right pale. Just a little old letter, wasn't even 1 page long, but it made me wish I was in my grave and gone. I turned it over. Not a word writ on the back. I never felt so lonesome since I was born black. Just a pencil and paper. You don't need no gun nor knife. A little old letter can take a person's life.
Calling all women. Calling all sisters, calling all righteous sisters, calling all women, calling all righteous women to steal away to our secret place, have a meeting face to face, look at the facts and determine our pace, calling all women. We want to reach first and second and third world women. Come together, women in and outside the power structure, working women, welfare women, women who feel alienated and isolated, women who are all frustrated, who have given up women questioning women unpolarized, unorganized, ostracized, tired of being and penalized. Come, help us start to bridge the gaps, racial, cultural, generation. We want action and veneration. These men, they just ain't doing it. They've had hundreds of years and they're about to ruin it. Kitchen, office, ex-prison women, singing, dancing, diapering women, old and young and middle-aged women. Make this scene. Oh yes, and bring your lunch. Problems, common problems that we make and cause each other. Sister, daughter, old grandmother, female child, you can bring your little brother. Take the subway, grab a cab, ride a bike, or pick 'em up and lay 'em down. Democracy or socialism, here and now or futurism. We just can't afford a schism. We got to get together or die. Now is the time for evolution. Let's all search and find solutions for how we'll make the next revolution or die. Oh yes, and don't forget your lunch.
Slim in hell. Slim Greer went to heaven. St. Peter said, "Slim, you've been a right good boy," and he winked at him. "You've been a traveling rascal in your day. You can roam once more, then you comes to stay. Put these wings on your shoulders and save your feet." Slim grin, and he speak up, "Thank you, Pete." Then Peter say, "Go to hell and see all that is doing and report to me. Be sure to remember how everything go." Slim say, "I be seeing you on the late watch, Bo." Slim got to cavortin' swell as you choose, like Lindy in the spirit of St. Louis blues. He flew and he flew till at last he hit a hangar with the sign reading, "This is it." Then he parked his wings and strolled around, getting used to his feet on the solid ground. Big Brown come a-roaring like Niagara Falls, on by white devils in overhauls. Now Slim warn't scared, cross my heart it's a fact, and the dog went on obeying some po' devil's track. Then Slim saw a mansion and walked right in. The devil looked up with a sickly grin. "Certainly didn't look for you, Mr. Greer. How it happened you comes to visit here?" Slim say, "Oh, just thought I'd drop by a spell. Feel at home, sir, and here's the keys to hell." Then he took Slim around and showed him people raised in hell as high as the first church steeple. Lots of folks fighting at the roulette wheel, like old Rampart Street or leastwise Beale. Showed him bawdy houses and cabarets. Slim thought of New Orleans and Memphis days. Each devil was busy with a devilish broad, and Slim cried, Lordy, Lord, Lord, Lord. Took him in a room where Slim seed a preacher with a brown skin on each knee. Showed him giant stills going everywhere, with a passel of devils stretched dead drunk there. Then he took him to the furnace that some devils was firing, hot as hell, and Slim started a mean perspiring. White devils with pitchforks threw black devils on. Slim thought he'd better be getting along. And he say, this makes me think of home, Vicksburg, Little Rock, Jackson, Waco, and Rome. Then the devil gave Slim the big ha-ha and turned into a cracker with a sheriff's star. Slim ran for his wings, let out from the ground, hauled it back to St. Peter, safety bound. St. Peter said, well, you got back quick. How's the devil? And what's his latest trick? And Slim said, Peter, I really can't tell. The place was Dixie that I hell. Then, Peter, you must be crazy, I vow. Where in hell d'you think hell was? And get on back to the earth, 'cause I got to fear you's a little too dumb for to stay up here.
Light breaks where no sun shines, where no seas run, the waters of the heart push in their tide, and broken ghosts with glowworms in their heads, the things of light, file through the flesh where no flesh decks the bones. A candle in the thighs warms youth and seed and burns the seeds of age. Where no seed stirs, the fruit of man unwrinkles in the stars, bright as a fig. Where no wax is, the candle shows its hairs. Dawn breaks behind the eyes, from poles of skull and toe the windy blood slides like a sea. Nor fenced nor staked, the gushers of the sky spout to the rod, divining in a smile the oil of tears. Night in the socket rounds like some pitch moon the limits of the globes. Day lights the bone. Where no cold is, the skinning gales unpin the winter's robes. The film of spring is hanging from the lids. Light breaks on secret lots, on tips of thought where thoughts smell in the rain. When logics die, the secret of the soil grows through the eye, and blood jumps in the sun. Above the waste allotment, the dawn halts.
Gather out of stardust, earth dust, cloud dust, and splinters of hail, one handful of dream dust, not for sale. It's not enough to mourn and not enough to pray. Sackcloth and ashes anyhow, save for another day. The Lord God himself would hardly desire that men be burned to death and bless the fire. Send for the Pied Piper and let him pipe the rats away. Send for Robin Hood to clinch the anti-poverty campaign. Send for the fairy queen with a wave of the wand to make us all into princes and princesses. Send for King Arthur to bring the Holy Grail. Send for old man Moses to lay down the law. Send for Jesus to preach the Sermon on the Mount. Send for Dreyfus to cry, J'accuse. Send for dead blind Lemon to sing the B-flat blues. Send for Robespierre to scream, Ça ira, ça ira, ça ira. Send, God forbid he's not dead long enough, for Lumumba to cry, freedom now. Send for Lafayette and tell him, Help! Help me! Send for Denmark Vesey, crying free. For Stinky saying, run a new flag up the mast. For old John Brown, who knew slavery couldn't last. Send for Lenin. Don't you dare, he can't come here. Send for Trotsky. What? Don't confuse the issue, please. Send for Uncle Tom on his mighty knees. Send for Lincoln. Send for Grant. Send for Frederick Douglass, Garrison, Beecher, Lowell. Send for Harriet Tubman, old Sojourner Truth. Send for Marcus Garvey. What? Sufi. Who? Father Divine. Where? Du Bois. When? Malcolm. Oh, send for Stokely. No? Then send for Adam Powell on a non-subpoena day. Send for the Pied Piper to pipe our rats away. And if nobody comes, send for me. I've been scarred and battered. My hopes the wind done scattered. Snow has frizzed me, sun has baked me. Looks like between 'em they done tried to make me stop laughing, stop loving, stop living. But I don't care. I'm still here.
Christ is a nigger, beaten and black, oh, bear your back. Mary is his mother, mammy of the South, silence your mouth. God is his father, white master above, grant him your love. Most holy bastard of the bleeding mouth, nigger Christ on the cross of the South. I, too, sing America. I am the darker brother. They send me to eat in the kitchen when company comes, but I laugh and eat well and grow strong. Tomorrow I'll be at the table when company comes. Nobody'll dare say to me, eat in the kitchen then. Beautiful I am, and be ashamed. I, too, am America. My old mule, he's got a grin on his face. He's been a mule so long, he's forgot about his race. I'm like that old mule, black, and don't give a damn. You got to take me like I am.
Night of the 2 moons and the 17 stars. Night of the day before yesterday and the day after tomorrow. Night of the 4 songs unsung. Sorrow, 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 sorrow.
I could tell you if I wanted to what makes me what I am. But I don't really want to, and you don't give a damn.
This next one is a killer, said Simple. This is a serious one. Out there on that beach, I got to thinking about how if I didn't have to write Jim Crow, I might go down home for my vacation. And I looked around out yonder at Orchard Beach, and almost everybody on the beach besides me and Joyce was speaking Italian or German or Yiddish or Spanish or Puerto Rican or something. Everything but English. So I got to thinking about how any one of them people could visit my home state down south and ride anywhere they want on the trains, except me. That's when I wrote this poem, which I will now read to you. Listen. I wonder how it can be that Greeks, Germans, Jews, Italians, Mexicans, and everybody but me down south can ride in the trains and streetcars and buses without any fusses. But when I come along, me, American as I can be, they got a sign up for me to ride behind, colored. My folks and my folks' folkses and their folkses before have been here 300 years or more. Yet any foreigner from Polish to Dutch rides anywhere he wants to on the train, and he's not subject to such treatments as my fellow men give me in this land of the free. Dixie, you ought to get wise and be civilized. Take down that colored sign for me to ride behind. And then I sign my name, Jesse B. Simple. How do you like that one? Did you write that yourself, or did Joyce help you? Every word of it I writ myself, said Simple. Joyce wanted me to change folkses and say peoples, but I didn't have an eraser. It would have been longer, too, but Joyce made me stop and go with her to get some hot dogs. That poem's long enough, I said. Not as long as Jim Crow, said Simple.
You say I okayed long distance? Okayed it when? My goodness, Central, that was then. I'm mad and disgusted with that man now. I don't pay no reverse charges nohow. You say I will pay it, else you'll take out my phone? You better let my phone alone. I didn't ask him to telephone me. Roscoe knows darn well long distance ain't free. If I ever catch him, Lord have pity, calling me up from Kansas City just to tell me he loves me. Why'd he tell me something I don't know? For instance, what can them other girls do that Alberta K. Johnson can do? And more, too. What's that, Central? You say you don't care nothing about my private affair? Well, even less about your phone bill as I care. Yeah. You say I gave my okay? Well, that okay you may keep, but I sure ain't gonna pay. I worked for a woman. She wasn't mean, but she had a 12-room house to clean. Had to get breakfast, dinner, and supper, too. Then take care of her children when I got through. Wash, iron, scrub, walk the dog around. It was too much. Nearly broke me down. I said, Madam, can it be you trying to make a pack horse out of me? She opened her mouth and cried, Oh, no, you know, Alberta, we love you so. I said, Madam, that may be true, but I'll be dogged if I love you. In time of silver rain, the earth puts forth new life again. Green grasses grow, and flowers lift their heads, and over all the plain the wonder spreads of life, of life, of life. In time of silver rain, the butterflies lift silken wings to catch a rainbow cry, and trees put forth new leaves to sing in joy beneath the sky, as down the roadway passing boys and girls go singing too in time of silver rain, when spring and life are new. Little snail, dreaming you go, weather and rose is all you know, weather and rose is all you see, drinking the dewdrop's mystery. When I get to be a composer, I'm going to write me some music about daybreak in Alabama, and I'm going to put the prettiest songs in it, rising out of the ground like a swamp mist, and falling out of the heavens like soft dew. I'm going to put some tall, tall trees in it, and the scent of pine needles, and the smell of red clay after rain, and long red necks, and poppy-colored faces, and big brown arms, and the field daisy eyes of black and white, black people. And I'm going to put white hands and black hands and brown and yellow hands and red clay earth hands in it, touching everybody with kind fingers and touching each other, natural as dew. In that dawn of music, when I get to be a composer and write about daybreak in Alabama.
I, too, sing America. I am the darker brother. They send me to eat in the kitchen when company comes, but I laugh and eat well and grow strong. Tomorrow I'll be at the table when company comes. Nobody'll dare say to me, eat in the kitchen then. Besides, they'll see how beautiful I am and be ashamed. I, too, am America.
Heaven is a place where happiness is everywhere. Animals and birds sing, as does everything. To each stone, how do you do? Stone answers back, well, and you?
Douglas was someone who, had he walked with wary foot and frightened tread, from very indecision might be dead, might have lost his soul, but instead decided to be bold and capture every street on which he set his feet, to route each path towards freedom's goal, to make each highway choose his compass's choice. To all the world cried, hear my voice. Oh, to be a beast, a bird, anything but a slave, he said. who would be free themselves must strike the first blow, he said. He died in 1895. He is not dead.
I've known rivers. I've known rivers ancient as the world and older than the flow of human blood in human veins. My soul has grown deep like the rivers. I bathed in the Euphrates when dawns were young. I built my hut near the Congo, and it lulled me to sleep. I looked upon the Nile and raised the pyramids above it. I heard the singing of the Mississippi when Abe Lincoln went down to New Orleans, and I've seen its muddy bosom turn all golden in the sunset. I've known rivers, ancient, dusky rivers. My soul has grown deep like the rivers.
Bad morning. Here I sat with my shoes mismated. Lordy mercy, I was frustrated. Bad luck card. 'Cause you don't love me is awful, awful hard. Gypsy done showed me my bad luck card. There ain't no good left in this world for me. Gypsy done told me, unlucky as can be. I don't know what poor weary me can do. Gypsy says, I'd kill myself if I was you.
Here on the edge of hell stands Harlem, remembering the old lies, the old kicks in the back, the old be patient they told us before. Sure, we remember. Now, when the man at the corner store says sugar's gone up another 2 cents and bread 1, and there's a new tax on cigarettes, we remember the job we never had, never could get, and can't have now because we're colored. So we stand here on the edge of hell in Harlem and look out on the world and wonder what we're going to do in the face of what we remember.
This is Langston Hughes. Many of my poems are poems about the Negro people in relation to American democracy and about the problems of American democracy in general as applied to race. The first poem is called Afro-American Fragment. So long, so far away is Africa. Not even memories alive, save those that history books create, save those that songs beat back into the blood, beat out of blood with words sad sung in strange un-Negro tongue. So long, so far away is Africa. Subdued and time lost are the drums, and yet through some vast mist of race there comes this song I do not understand, this song of atavistic land, of bitter yearnings lost without a place. So long, so far away is Africa's dark face. This is The Negro Speaks of Rivers, one of my earliest poems written in 1920, just after I came out of high school. The way this poem came to be written was that I was going to Mexico to visit my father who lived in Mexico City, and on the train going across the Mississippi River just outside St. Louis, I looked out the window and I saw this great muddy river flowing down toward the heart of the South, and I began to think about what this river meant to the Negro people, how, in a sense, our history was linked to this river, how in slavery time my grandmother told me that to be sold down the Mississippi was one of the worst things that could happen to a Negro slave. And then I remembered that I'd read about Abraham Lincoln going down the Mississippi as a young man, and he went on a raft to New Orleans, and he saw human beings bought and sold in the slave market there, and he was so horrified by this that he never forgot it. And many years later, of course, we know that it was Lincoln who signed the Emancipation Proclamation. And so, as the train went on into the gathering dusk, because it had been about sunset when we crossed the river, I took my father's letter out of my pocket and began to write down on the back of his letter this poem, The Negro Speaks of Rivers. I've known rivers ancient as the world and older than the flow of human blood in human veins. My soul has grown deep like the rivers. I bathed in the Euphrates when dawns were young. I built my hut near the Congo, and it lulled me to sleep. I looked upon the Nile and raised the pyramids above it. I heard the singing of the Mississippi when Abe Lincoln went down to New Orleans, and I've seen its muddy bosom turn all golden in the sunset. I've known rivers, ancient, dusky rivers. My soul has grown deep like the rivers. This one is a poem almost as old as The Negro Speaks of Rivers. It was written when I was perhaps 21. It's called Negro. I'm a Negro, black as the night is black, black like the depths of my Africa. I've been a slave. Caesar told me to keep his doorsteps clean. I brushed the boots of Washington. I've been a worker. Under my hand the pyramids arose. I made mortar for the Woolworth building. I've been a singer. All the way from Africa to Georgia, I carried my sorrow songs. I made ragtime. I've been a victim. The Belgians cut off my hands in the Congo. They lynch me now in Mississippi. I am a Negro, black as the night is black, black like the depths of my Africa. American Heartbreak. I am the American heartbreak, rock on which freedom stumps its toe, the great mistake that Jamestown made long ago. Dream Variations. This poem, like the first one that I read, has overtones of Africa. To fling my arms wide in some place of the sun, to whirl and to dance till the white day is done, then rest at cool evening beneath a tall tree, while night comes on gently, dark like me. That is my dream. To fling my arms wide in the face of the sun, dance, whirl, whirl, till the quick day is done. Rest at pale evening, a tall, slim tree, night coming tenderly, black like me.
Next.
Think you can look it? Get to the wicket. Buy you a ticket. Go! Go by bus, by plane, by car, by train. New York, New York. What they call a something else town. A city of more than 8 million people, with 1 million people passing through every day. Some come just to visit and some come to stay. If you scuffle hard enough and you ain't no dunce, you can always get by in New York City. I heard somebody say once, yeah, if you can't make it in New York City, man, you can't make it nowhere. So where do people come to scuffle? Right here. Think you can look it? Get to the wicket. Buy you a ticket. Go! New York, New York. A city so nice they had to name it twice. It may seem like a cold town, but man, let me tell you, it's a soul town. And it ain't a bit hard to find someone who's lonesome or forlorn here. But it's like finding a needle in a haystack to find somebody who was born here. New York, New York. Something else town, all right. East side, west side, uptown, downtown. There's one thing all New York City has, and that's jazz. A while ago, there were cats reading while cats played jazz behind them. There was nothing happening, so the musicians hooked right on like they didn't even mind them. I wrote the shortest jazz poem ever heard. Nothing about hugging, kissing. One word. Listen. Yes, if you pay New York dues, you get New York blues. There's a lot of giving and taking while you're trying to get by. And the buildings got something in common with the cost of living. They're both sky high. New Yorkers brag about their buildings being tall. As narrow as Manhattan Island is, you go up or nowhere at all. And on one thing you can rely, we got New York's finest. The finest money can buy. Some give a little now, and some lean hard. But they're all right in general, as long as you ain't the wrong cat trying to get a cabaret card. So, cats keep on struggling to say their say. But between them and the audience, there sits the DJ. And I'm hip, lack of acceptance is a drag. People not digging the only thing that's their own, man, that's really in another bag. But lack of acceptance is less like something to hide from and more like something bird died from.
It's called gerontology, or springtime for senility. At 40, I lost my illusions. At 50, I lost my hair. At 60, my hope and teeth were gone, and my feet were beyond repair. At 80, life has clipped my claws. I'm bent and bowed and cracked. But I can't give up the ghost because my follies are all intact.
We have a thought for the year by our old friend Yip Harburg. Democracy gives us a choice of which machine to vote with, or choose which brand of razor blade you'd rather cut your throat with.
I've whittled my wit and whipped my rhymes for a small obit in the New York Times.
Not like the brazen giant of Greek fame, with conquering limbs astride from land to land. Here at our sea-washed sunset gate shall stand a mighty woman with a torch, whose flame is the imprisoned lightning, and her name, Mother of Exile. From her beacon hand glows worldwide welcome. Her mild eyes command the air-braced harbor that twin cities frame. Keep, ancient lands, your storied pomp, cries she with silent lips. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masters yearning to breathe free. The wretched refuge of your teeming shore, send these, the homeless, tempest-tossed, to me, to my lamp beside the golden door.
I am Ireland. I am Ireland. I am older than the old woman of Bear. Great my glory, I that bore Cuchulainn the valiant. Great my shame, my own children that sold their mother. I am Ireland. I am lonelier than the old woman of Bear. And here is the same poem in its own language. Mishe ere, Shinnemen an Chaljach Beere, Moor Magloir, Mederug Cuchulainn Croge, Moor Manair, Machlan Fein the Yiel Mahir. Mishe ere, Uegne men an Chaljach Beere.